Welcome back to Piece of Chaos. I'm going to open a fresh La Croix. It's guava. Highly recommend. Well, thank you first. I want to say thank you for listening first. Really appreciate it. I tried to think about what I wanted to talk about this week. And it was really tough to decide because I don't like being negative or, I hope this brings peace in the chaos. That's the idea, right? And maybe in some weird, sick way this does bring some peace to things for me. But we were watching this news special, like a History Channel kind of thing, which, whatever. It was interesting. It was about Barack Obama and his presidency. And it's hard to believe how long ago that was already. It seems even further away, given the time distortion that is the COVID pandemic. But, it was a long time ago. The footage looked grainy. It looked like a history movie. So it was long ago. Long enough ago that it seems out of reach, I guess. But what struck me was, just taking a little slice of that history, not that long ago, and watching and realizing, President Obama wasn't the president when Katrina happened. That was George Bush. And George W. Bush. And I remember thinking when Katrina happened, not the warning of that, because who could have known how catastrophic it would be and that stuff. I think they probably just did what they normally do. But it was the follow-up, obviously, that was such a colossal blunder. If you're too young to really remember that, it was a terrible hurricane, wiped out chunks of New Orleans and Georgia and that whole coastline there. And, obviously a lot of people were killed. It happened way faster than I think people thought it would. It was way worse than people thought it would. A lot of those people were black people, very poor people that had no choice, maybe didn't even know it was coming. It was horrific. And you think, okay, this is America. I apologize, I should know, but I don't know what day it happened, like what day of the week or whatever, but let's just say for the sake of argument that the storm happened on a Friday. You would think that in America, or at least we'd been led to believe, that we had this incredible infrastructure and military force and reaction teams that could be, just instantly deployed. It seemed that way anyway, from my perspective. We would do that in other countries even. Something terrible would happen. America was there to help. We'd send our military or, whatever and send aid, and that's who America was. We were the best at getting shit done. And we would show up. We had our shit together. We had supplies. We had emergency personnel. We had medicine. We showed up. We took care of it. And it was days. It was days before those people got fresh water. There was no plan. They had them find higher ground, I believe, in the Superdome as like a shelter and that place got kind of jacked up, and they didn't have any food or water. People died in that building after that. Like, and to watch it from an outsider's perspective, being like not living directly there, but just being a citizen, watching that go down just blew me away. That we couldn't help those people sooner. That we couldn't deploy ships and airplanes and boats and whatever we needed to get there. Cruise ships, get those people out of there, give them someplace to live for a couple days. Like, it was people walking on the freeway and standing on the tops of the roofs of their houses waiting to be rescued for days. If there was some limitation to the circumstances, I don't remember hearing it. Once the storm passed, I believe planes and helicopters could be down there. Like, it just didn't make any sense. And I don't know if I can't believe that the message is also so full of racism to assume that we American people in charge let it happen because they didn't care about those people. I think actually what happened and what we're unable to admit maybe is that we're just not that great at doing things like that anymore. We don't rally together like that anymore. So that was Katrina. That was, many years ago. And then I just find myself being surprised again by the failure to handle the COVID pandemic effectively as a nation, but also as a good force in the world as a nation to proactively go help places that can't be helped. Instead, we have people here who are refusing to get the vaccine, who are, vaccines going to waste, all for what seems to be a lot of just made-up garbage science fear-mongering that has no basis in fact. Every conspiracy theory about this just doesn't hold up, doesn't make sense. If you break it down by a layer or two, just nothing holds up. And don't get me wrong, I like a good conspiracy theory when they don't involve people getting killed like this. Unnecessarily, obviously. Especially kids, I mean, it boggles the mind. So I guess I'm just disappointed, and I'd love to know why I was so surprised and disappointed seeing the failure of Katrina. I guess I just hoped, this is why I brought up the Obama thing. I guess I just had hoped we'd learned some lessons there, improved the situation there, and those things were in place to be better to respond to whatever chaos it is that the world throws at us. We certainly advance our technology. We certainly advance our ability to collect and share knowledge. We certainly expand our ability to do lots of things. We have at our disposal incredibly powerful means of communication and, information gathering. So we're just not executing on it very well with what we have. So I guess I'm just disappointed. As disappointed as you are that I don't have a guest this week, I guess. Maybe you're not. Maybe this is interesting. I don't know. I want to talk to other people, but the timing is not working out. But it's cool. I do have one scheduled for this week. Like I told you, Blake Wexler. Looking forward to talking with him, especially since he's been living back in Philadelphia now for, I don't know, couple months, maybe it's a year. I don't know. Like I said, time makes no sense in a pandemic. But I will be talking to Blake Wexler. I have a couple other things in mind. But this is almost becoming an exercise for me as well that I'm interested in, because, delving into thoughts and a thought process is the same as, in a way, just maybe not as live and reactive and stuff like that. But, the muscle to learn how to write and expand and think about a topic is what I love about doing stand-up comedy and doing talks and presentations and stuff like that. I really like figuring things out and talking about it and figuring out a way to communicate it well. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here is part of these solo ones. It's a whole different thing than doing an interview and a conversation, which I also love. So you get what you get, and you don't get upset, as the children's book says. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was stand-up. And I'm really sad because I think there needs to be a layer of joy that is there for every stand-up show to be fun. One of the things I used to do on the way to every single Comedy Ahoy show, I had about a 45-minute to an hour drive to get to that. And it was I liked that drive. It was very relaxing. It was beautiful. I would drive down the PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway, with the ocean, the ocean out there on my right. And if I could, I usually listened to Pete Holmes' podcast, because it was always so silly and fun, even if it was serious, even if it was deep, even if it was like a heavy topic, or he talks a lot about, religion and the mysteries of the universe and spirituality and just deep, really deep human things. But he's so silly and funny, and his laugh is just so infectious, and it would just put me in the right mood to be at a comedy show. And I've kind of started listening to that again because I don't want to think about this stuff anymore as much. I can't wait till we don't have to even think about this anymore. I can't wait to not have to worry about a mask. But I do think we're going to be in an endemic situation here, which basically is this just becomes another thing that we live with and get vaccinated for. And, it seems like when you get vaccinated with this, even if you do get it, it's really not that bad for most people. I still think there's a lot we don't know about COVID, and obviously it's doing a lot of weird stuff to a lot of people in different ways, and that sucks. But, I think someday, in a year or so, sad to say, I think it is going to be a year or so. Apparently, I need to research this myself. I have the book, but I haven't read it. It's like one of those ones on the shelf that I need to get to, but maybe now it'd be even more interesting just to see the parallels of the great influenza, the 1918 flu pandemic. Because I know there are some parallels. I know people were protesting masks then and all that stuff. But again, to go to the no excuses thing, like, they didn't have the internet then, and they still did this. This is just how humans are. Some of us like the confirmation bias with the answer that the government's trying to kill you, instead of, no, a virus is trying to kill you, and science figured out a way to not have that happen many, many years ago, and we found one again, and here it is, and oh God, can't wait to not talk about it anymore. Which brings me to the layer of joy. I want there to be a layer of joy on top of a comedy show. And I'm just feeling like it isn't okay yet to produce an indoor comedy show until that layer of joy can be universal. Because this is the way I've been thinking about it. If I have the show and we don't talk about whether you have to be vaccinated to get into the show, for example, if we don't talk about that, if we don't bring it up, then the vaccinated will worry about it and think it's risky. The unvaccinated will be carefree and not worrying about it. Hopefully, it doesn't turn into a conversation, but it's there. It's in the air. You can see the tension in the air. Everybody's freaking out on planes and in school board meetings, and there's a lot of tension in the air. So, on the other hand, if we just wait until we don't have that anymore, and the day will come, then we can have, I can feel comfortable producing an indoor show again and feel like we don't have to talk about this. We don't even have to ask about this. And, it's not even my venue, Like, that's the thing. Like these venues, not just comedy venues, restaurants, bars. Man, who thought they would be hit this hard? Who thought we would go through this again? It's bananas. And it's going to take a while for us all to get back to normal. But anyway, what I'm saying is I'm not ready to be as free as I feel like you must be to be good at comedy, whether it's producing it or performing. And not talk about it. And I don't want to talk about it anymore. But I really miss doing stand-up, and I miss my friends, and I miss the audiences and the shows. The shows were always fun. They were always fun. They're always fun. Every single one has been fun. Even if my show was bad or I didn't like my set, they were always fun. Somebody was funny. Most people were funny. The people that came to the show had a good time and were silly and fun. Like, yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people have similar things that they miss, right? This is one of the things I've realized I miss the most, is just the simple joy, the layer of joy that could be on gatherings. And now, if we have a layer of joy on the gathering, it still has a weird thing, because then we're talking about the pandemic. Maybe it's just me, but that seems to be the conversation across the board. So anyway, I appreciate anybody that's still listening. Hey, we're in this together, right? And we got to think about this stuff, and we have to educate our kids more effectively, so they're not susceptible to confirmation bias based conspiracy theories when it comes to the health of the whole species, basically. And compassion for others and the rest of the world as it impacts all of us. So, yeah. So that's where my head's at this week, guys. Guys and girls, whoever's listening. I so appreciate you and appreciate this medium. And, yeah, looking forward to the next one. Have a great week. Have a great week. It's bananas out there. All right. Later. And thank you. Under my skin. I've got you.
I've got you under my skin. I've tried so not to give in. I said to myself, this affair ain't never gonna go too well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know too well that I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything come what might for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that rings in the nights, repeats and repeats.